once she gets.
Neil did the claim.
He did, he's ready to. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome to the Town of Pownell Special Select Board meeting, October 16th, 2025 at 5:01 PM. Call the meeting in order. Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Board member roll call. Carl Strohmeyer.
Jamie Alexander.
Mike Gardner.
Jamie Percy.
Town office snow removal discussion and possible action. So we talked about this. And as promised, I talked to Joel on Friday morning after the last meeting. I think we've come up with a little bit of a plan since then, possibly.
I did talk to Chris. He's not positive about the plowing. He's still waiting on customers to get back to him. But he will shovel the walks if we need him to.
I think that's a good plan. I think that if we had the walk shoveled, then when the town is going through here in the morning, they can blow a hole open in here to open the driveway up.
Well, definitely, yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
no matter what, whether it's him or someone else. And then, come back and clean up as the storm or whatever.
So also, I have somebody in mind that, well, we talked about it before, is willing to plow too this winter.
Mhm.
So we can use him also.
As a town employee, not as an outside contractor.
No, just per diem.
Right, but as a town employee.
Yes.
Yeah, right, okay.
I have a couple questions. So would Tristan be paid like an employee per diem, or would he be paid a contract?
I would say employee per diem like he did last year, right?
Yes, that's an hourly rate, as long as he's
Yes.
agreeable to that. I don't see any issue because he was hired last year. But if we're gonna hire another position, I don't know if we should advertise or what that, for the per diem part, I don't know what the board would like to do for that.
He's on your crew, right?
Yeah, he would be working.
Right.
with us,
Then
using our trucks.
that's part of the town's road crew anyway. Why would we have to advertise?
Yeah, but if it's a per diem,
It would be a new employee that he would be hiring
part-time position,
per diem.
Per diem.
yes, as needed, yeah.
Um,
And it's totally up to the board. I mean, you could decide just to have Joel hire the person he has in mind, or you could put it out, advertise it, and see who applies, do interviews. It's
What did we do with,
discretion.
what did we do with Paul when we hired him for the mowing? Did we advertise or did we just hire?
he was mowing with Casey,
Yeah,
Oh,
he's been on,
starting way back then.
What did you purpose it?
We advertised.
yeah,
Just, that's,
We did advertise last year.
it wouldn't hurt.
We could advertise. I think we probably should advertise. But I think
Makes it more fair and equitable.
No, I totally get that.
we could advertise that position and,
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna be beating the door down for the money and what goes on and where they haven't been in the past.
No,
we do have to come up with a money thing that we're all over the place.
Right.
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 With part-timers and
And would this per diem person make what Tristan made when he was hired last year?
I would say yes, yeah.
I would think that's where we should start it at.
Yeah, I just want to make sure for when I advertise it, do it right.
And I don't know what we wanna do about the shoveling. I think we could count on Tristan to come in and shovel the thing out, even if he's not plowing in that position.
Yes,
If he didn't apply for that position, he's gonna make sure that the church and
he told me, well,
the town, that, these walks are shoveled, and I think he's pretty conscientious about what he does.
Why can't we?
yeah, yeah.
And I-
mean, what?
Can we list that as the per diem position?
Well,
Part of it.
Tristan can
Yep.
do that aspect of it. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to be a contract, because if it was a contract, then we would need to put it.
Post it, correct.
I don't think we should do a
But
contract.
if not, it's, like Joel's willing to pay him hourly and he's willing to do that, so I think that works.
Hannah, you have like this
My
expression.
question was just if we were hiring per diem plower and then Tristan per diem, but I'm assuming.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Well, hopefully Tristan will do it all.
Okay,
He just can't give me a positive answer, right?
okay, so if he can't do it all, he will be doing the shoveling and then.
That's what he said.
So Tristan's in the process of trying to have his own plow accounts for the winter.
Mm-hmm.
And if he gets enough accounts, then he doesn't want to commit to the town, because then somebody's gonna get shorted, whether it's his own customers or the town.
Right.
So he's being conscientious about what he's doing here instead of
Right.
taking on too much. Well, I really believe that he'll make sure that this is shoveled, even if he has his own accounts and he's doing his own thing. It's just who he is.
Yeah, he told me if we're worried about the shoveling mostly,
Yeah.
he would take care of that. And I believe he will.
So I think we should advertise for that per diem plow person. And, by then, a couple of weeks from then, maybe that first meeting in November. Up till then,
If Tristan decides he wants it after we advertise, what do we do there?
We still have.
we've always,
Yeah, we.
We've had a couple in the past, haven't we?
We'll just have more names.
but we've also always, since I've been sitting here, we've gone on your recommendation
Yeah,
on what to do and who to hire, or whether to buy or not buy or whatever equipment. I would be very comfortable in working on your recommendation, whatever it is, at the time.
yeah, I just didn't want to make it real complicated.
Right.
Because
Right.
we will have somebody,
Mm-hmm.
we're just not real positive right now.
Right.
And we're not gonna leave, well, I talked to Tristan today, the town in a lurch. We also really gotta think about timely time. What are you gonna do over there? You got the watts, there's a lot of hand shoveling. Tom's not a young chicken. Ollie's not either.
No, I think that's a discussion that needs to be had too.
Yeah, and he did request in his capital, or his budgeting stuff, a snow blower, so I think he does plan on
Yeah.
doing the snow removal.
Yeah.
Sort of in-house.
Yeah.
But I don't,
But that's not for this fiscal year, is it? Isn't the snow blower next fiscal or this fiscal?
he said an immediate need, that was one of his immediate needs.
Yeah, he does have to have some.
And he does have money in the equipment fund, which we'll get into that after, but. He didn't mention, I don't feel like he mentioned the need for shoveling, I feel like that was, something I heard from Joel. I haven't heard from Tom about shoveling yet.
Geez, if you think if you needed a snow blower, I think you come in and say you need a snow blower and.
Shoveling.
I wouldn't wait for the first snow day. I'll get a snow blower now. Just me.
Yeah,
I'll reach out to Tom. I gotta reach out to him. I'll try to get there tomorrow.
he relies on us also, and if you're out on the roads, I can't be there for somebody before 8 o'clock.
What has he used in the past? Like,
Well.
he doesn't have a snowblower?
He didn't have the compactors.
Oh, well, that's,
Yes.
yeah,
So
Okay.
we could just go in with the big plows and just push them out, go down in front of the tipping sheds. That was that, but
got you.
now you're gonna have to keep it salted. Shoveled so somebody don't slip and fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we gonna need to, speaking of the salt, are we gonna need a hand spreader over there, Joel, to spread this all? It's not something you're gonna be able to do with the trucks, or are you?
On the blacktop, but not on concrete, we should do like we do here.
Chicken feed.
And that's, I'll get a ton of bag salt like we have here.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that just came to my mind. So we'll have to get one of those little,
I'll have to look, see how much we got, they used to buy it here from Staples or somewhere, it was like, what, $50 a pail or something?
I don't know, I stopped that as soon as I came on, so I have no idea.
Super expensive.
We have quite a bit downstairs, but. Yeah, and that's an easy thing. He has money in his budget,
right,
he has the buildings and grounds maintenance
right,
line
right.
under the transfer station general fund, so. He should have some money to do that.
So I think we're okay with this town office, we can. Until the November meeting, we're good to go, until we get a per diem person in place, whether it's Tristan or another person. We'll take care of it, I'm sure he'll take care of the shoveling if we get a storm between now and then,
Yeah,
and not worry about it.
and like I said, we're not gonna leave it hanging either.
Right.
And knock on wood, we have easy winter.
Right.
We did last year.
Yeah.
Used to be, we got a few feet of snow and people didn't really panic. Now we get 4 to 6 inches and everybody's in a big.
They shut down for 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have no clue what we do.
The 6-inch storm shuts the whole world down for 3 days. Yeah, 2 inches a day, I guess. I don't
So
know.
let's push a wheelbarrow through it.
At any rate. Road fund planning and budget discussion. This goes along with our capital planning.
One thing I did look at is short notice. Is to put in with the building, like we talked about. Still think we're better off to go prefab. I mean, there's a lot of, you don't necessarily have to. Something that's kind of all engineered, all architectural is done. Because when I looked into that, they wanted $80,000-$90,000 just to draw it up. That wasn't even engineering, which was ridiculous.
It's the architectural part.
Which is the point I kind of wanted to make really quick before we get too far into discussions. Was last fiscal year when we were planning, Joel thought he was going to do the building, so we budgeted into the building fund. So that's the importance of really planning a year, 2 years, 3 years out, because
Yes.
we could build that fund up more, but what if there's a vehicle that he needs more? We have to prioritize which is more important in the board's eyes.
Yes,
Between Joel and you all.
there's always.
Exactly.
There's always vehicles that need replacing. We're working on them constantly, which is. For PTO on one today, $8,400, so. The lines on the 2016 on top of the other one, the blue lines, the T rough and off, so. That would probably we're all right up under the frame. We got most of that one back together. 10 years out of that one. And it's not, the only thing we don't have, and I don't know if it's good or bad, why I'd like to do a building, is a wash bay. Because we can wash one and put it inside for the night, you know what I mean?
Right now.
You can only do one at a time.
So when you say a building, are you talking about like a really large garage or like,
Yeah.
barn? Okay,
Like to do 4 or 5 bays.
Okay.
Get the trucks inside because they all set out now, pretty good, they're undercover, I mean, but there's no ends, no sides. Just
you got an estimate at 90,000 just to draw up the plans?
80 foot on That's what the engineer wanted. But like, if you go, and I keep using because I got a price out of more. One of their buildings, I think it was what, 250,000.
Right, it's a prefab that's already, they have the specs on and we just find one that will meet your needs.
And that, I think, electric doors, and
Yeah.
that's pretty nice. And we were responsible for, the concrete, which I figured was probably another bit.
Yeah.
So we were looking at about 300,000. And they have their own architects and stuff, so you don't have to, you know what I mean?
Right,
Hire, even with the, salt shed, when I first started back then, they had an architect and they had an engineer. Public buildings, a whole different thing.
And this, yep, and that's a public building, you like.
Fire suppression was a big thing. If you don't have adequate water, which we're on a well water, if you get a fire and you don't have power, you don't have any wires for your water for the sprinklers.
Mhm.
So I don't know, some people put a tower up, hold a bunch of water or whatever. Or you can separate every 2 bays with black or something. From
Makes a fire stop.
it.
So on your, looking at your road, looking at this road fund balance in the capital plan. So for the capital planning portion, that's what we're kind of talking about, right? That's why we're kind of here. You get $187,000
Yes.
in their building fund now.
Yes.
Okay. So if we budgeted another 50,000, it's gonna put us at 230. Give or take. A little over. Right. Okay. And you're comfortable with $50,000 budgeted, if this is what we did last year.
Yeah.
Budgeted in your equipment fund.
Okay.
So I just want to point out, you have to look at what vehicles are gonna be replaced next year.
Right.
And look at the equipment fund and what's in there,
Mhm.
because we're gonna have to put more in there to bring it back up.
Mhm.
So we have to,
Yeah.
that's what's really hard about these conversations, is like prioritizing priorities.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do.
It's-
I'm trying to ask him where he's comfortable and where he's not comfortable. Right? So if he's comfortable with the building fund at 50,000. Is he comfortable with the equipment fund at 50,000 if we stayed? Budgeting 50,000 this year,
Yeah.
right? So if, right, but,
It's not necessarily about comfort, though, it has to be in accordance with a plan.
right, I understand that, Sarah, but what I'm trying to say is if he's not comfortable with 50,000 in the equipment fund, budgeting that, and he wants 60,000 or 70,000, then we gotta find $20,000 somewhere else.
Yeah.
So then we have to prioritize what's more important, the building or putting an extra 20 grand or whatever into your equipment fund. Right, so I'm trying to get a priority list here, and I just started with the building fund because that's what he brought up. And then equipment fund and so on.
I see where you're going.
Yeah.
I have another building question. If you'll hear me. So where they are right now, they're not actually, the trucks are not fully covered. They're exposed.
We only have a 2 bay.
Okay.
garage. And we usually keep the bucket loader inside because that has to start, you know?
Is it possible? It's like an add-on or a renovation possible that we could, or is that just not going to save money? Is that not cost effective?
It was built for single axle trucks. You take the tandems, you put the plow, well, if you put the plow in the wing, you can't back it in because it's not wide enough for a plow in the wing. So when my wing's on, I have to leave it outside.
Okay,
But even with the plow on the front, you're back all the way where your body is going outside, your plow's outside. It's not big enough.
Yep.
I toyed with the idea of maybe tearing the whole thing off the side and just continuing, but it'll take away from space.
Mhm.
At least we could back the grader in there, you know, the grader sits out all winter. a couple of the tractors we put down in the warehouse, tannery warehouse.
Well,
We're trying to get everything in as much as possible, but
and that's your maintenance garage too.
the backhoes, well, yeah, the two bags were.
Yeah. I'm just saying, that's what, if you got something down, that's where you work on it.
Yeah, right now we got two trucks been in there a week.
Thank you.
So, but if we look, you guys, I don't know, if you ever printed out like the
Mhm.
big version?
Replacement plan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I have it, but it confuses me, so will you just say which vehicles you're replacing next, or like what? Like a
well,
next fiscal year,
as
which one of these you'll be?
far as this goes, the 2012, which is our four-wheel drive, which right now is in better shape than the 2015. So we're gonna keep the 2012 four-wheel drive right now and get rid of the 2015. Replacement year on the 2012, of course, was July of 22, which has gone by. This one, the 2015, July of 25, which is what we're working at now to do.
And the one you're replacing now, we're working on now, that one you're taking how much out of your equipment fund?
We're gonna take 75. Yeah, we have 108 in it. We're gonna
Yeah.
take 75 out and borrow 210.
So when
The
you're looking at that fund.
2019 is done. What we got left on it right now is the John Deere loader loan, which will be paid in full 2027. It was $53,120. I'm not sure if that's what's left on it, you, or
Yeah.
that's what the payment was. So it's left on it, or is that what the payment is a year?
For the JD loader,
For the big loader.
If I read that correctly, it says balance principal.
Yeah.
It's like 27 per year, I think.
yeah, that looks like two payments.
Yeah,
That's the balance.
okay, yeah, okay.
So the equipment fund will be down under 30 grand,
Yeah,
around 30.
yeah.
A little over.
So what do we do? Another thing that is gonna need replacing is a 2006 motor grader. And about 350,000 replacement costs. That was due July 27. I try to figure like the loader. Once we get something big off like the loader, then we can put, like the grader on, you know what I mean, and borrow for that. That's why it's a beautiful program. We got the money, we can keep up with it, but we never really can,
Right. And we have to piecemeal.
you know, as far as capital.
That's why, that was my question for the capital planning portion, and Tara, kind of expanded on that. So the way I look at this is in just, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks to me like the grader or the loader comes off in 2027. Right, February of 27. So it looks like we would be looking at grader replacement in 2027, so it's just the grader, the loader payment is just going to be replaced by the grader payment. Basically, with an increase, let's face it.
Kind of, that's what I did with the truck.
Right, exactly.
Truck 2019 was off, now we're gonna put the new one on, but just looking through here, in the warehouse, we have the 1996 John Deere 410 backhoe. It should have been replaced a long time ago. We did some torque converter work on it last year in the reverser transmission. One thing you guys wanna realize too, going forward, you lose your mechanics. Start bringing things somewhere else to get this, man. Saves a lot of money.
Do you have a list from a piece of equipment that is the most costly? I don't know if you want the most costly, giving you the most problems, down to the one that gives you the least problems? Because we really should, if we're gonna start this up, we should be looking at not, well, this one was supposed to have done this. We should be looking at, okay, here's the one that's cost that have we put the most money in. And we really should be thinking about replacing that one instead of, and that one maybe doesn't need to be replaced on paper for a couple of years.
Which is the truck we're replacing now.
Right, correct. That's exactly what we're doing. Correct, but
The grader I had, Cat go through it last year. Did did fuel samples.
Yep.
Did everything, kind of tore it down some and
Yep.
all that stuff. And it was basically in pretty good shape. It's got almost 10,000 hours. It's never been touched.
correct, but you're going through trying to prioritize.
Yeah,
In the perfect world, we would have enough money to buy all the new equipment.
Yeah.
But we don't.
Right, so my biggest question, is how was the plan developed? Was it based on just like the vehicle should last this long in good
Yeah.
running condition?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that's really what we should discuss, is like, should we look at the plan and redo the plan?
Well, I think, so I think with anything, just based upon experience, right? And I think Joel can touch on this too. So based upon experience, you come up with the plan which we have, which I think is pretty solid from what I know about it and what I've listened to tonight. Okay, we have a 10-year truck replacement plan. But that's only a plan,
Mhm.
right? We're not locked into that plan. It's not a contract. It's what our goal is. So in this instance right here, per se, we know that the 2016 truck or the 2012 truck, sorry, the 2012 truck should have been replaced. But the 2015 truck is way worse than the 2012. So we replaced the 2015 and we keep the 2012. So our plan is contingent to change as we go, right? So if the grader's up for replacement in 2027 and something else major happens to a different piece of equipment,
May take
excuse me,
priority.
we can prioritize and change our plan.
In the grader, I don't mind too much because it hasn't really cost us a lot of money. No death, no. Nothing.
That's another big thing on, something like that. Maybe it's not so bad to push that out there, try to keep the maintenance as tip top on it. So that maybe we can push it out to at least 2030. Well, and that's the. Because it doesn't have death, it doesn't have all the stuff that we need to worry about.
It doesn't, no. And that's our biggest problem, like with the excavators, the depth, the sensors.
Mhm.
You ain't telling me. I deal with it every day. I deal with everything day.
But
So if I were to go out on a limb here, I think we have a pretty good plan in place for our equipment replacement, all in all. Right? I feel comfortable with what I'm listening to and what I know about what we have in place anyway. Because we can always make that, or future boards
Mhm.
can always make that adjustment as the needs arise. The one concern for me is the building fund.
Yeah.
Right, because I know what you're saying about, I don't have the ability to get my school buses inside to wash them. I take them to North Adams to wash them all the time when weather permitting, because you can't wash
when it's freezing cold.
when it's freezing cold, because then you're freezing that's right, you can't take your trucks and wash them if you have to put them back outdoors. Right, you could probably wash the truck inside, but you gotta put it back outside, and we all know what happens then.
Well, we can't wash inside at all.
Oh, so that was my question, you know. About trying to budget here is, you know. 50,000 in an equipment fund, okay, I'd love to put 100,000 in there and look, 100,000 there, can't. We have to be smart about where we're putting our money. And I know that's what your questions were too, right? So, you know, I was getting, I was getting to where you wanted to go. It was just, I was going down a different road.
The loan, one comes off, one goes on, I like that explanation, that makes sense to me.
Right.
Joel, could you, to wash every piece of equipment down, do you have an idea of, how much that extends a piece of equipment's life?
I would say keep the salt washed off them. Except, I will tell you, I guess from experience, some towns wash their equipment religiously. Inside. What happens when you get a piece of equipment wet and bring it inside? What happens, you know, the salt, it's just activated constant, right? Because you're in the wet, you're in the.
Warm, wet environment.
Does it really? I don't know.
I mean, I asked,
I talked to mechanics about other town trucks when they come in. And one's different than ours underneath.
Yeah.
Well, good on the outside, but
Yeah. Do we,
we're here looking at priorities, that's all.
yeah.
Well, but
But a lot of times get rid of their equipment. I would say years.
But I also think that having, so obviously I'm a proponent for a building, right? It's not, this isn't a secret. When we go out at 10 degrees below zero and you start that truck at 10 below zero, it's not just the motor that you have to worry about. You've got a whole hydraulic component in that truck that has to warm up. You're starting at 10 degrees below zero, the housings, the oil, every single bit of that. So you can't just go jump in that truck and go to work.
In air.
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, compressors,
You watch our trucks in the winter and you leave them out,
You're froze.
you're put, yeah.
You're putting alcohol to it.
Yeah.
Yep, every time. So if you have a building, even if that building is only heated to 50 degrees or whatever. The guys can show up, Joel calls them at 4:30, 4:45, they get there, they fire the truck, they can go to work. They don't have to wait a half an hour to, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a good 30 minutes, right? Before you can go to work outdoors to, once you fire that truck up, it really is.
Most, I'm up and out. All the
So,
guys
Well, somebody gotta start that truck.
go up and out, start all the trucks. So when the
so
guys come in there.
if we're talking about capital planning, then what time frame should we be thinking about a building?
Yesterday.
Well, yesterday, yeah. I understand that, but let's live in the real world here.
Right, is that something you're hoping to do?
In
within a
2
year,
years,
2 years, 5 years?
okay, that's why we're here.
So we have 187 in it now. Be nice to put 100, we'd have 287, 3 years down the road, we could do something. But it's the same with the equipment. I try to do what we can afford, period. It's the way it is.
Mhm.
Well, that's why I asked you. That was the question I asked. Okay, we have $50,000 in the building fund. Do we put 50,000 in it again? Or can we put 70,000 in it? And 30,000 in the equipment fund? And I'm just being hypothetical, right? Because the numbers are right there, easy to look at.
You're,
But I don't want, right, no, but that's part of the capital plan, right? That is what capital planning
It
is.
is what we do when we come with the budget, when you come in with your budget and you're like, oh, it's way too high, where we take sometimes from funds, or we just increase those lines.
And right now, when I look at the rest of these fund balance, you know, your budgets. Once I get my glasses on so I can actually see numbers. You know, the blacktop fund. you know, the balance is 257. That's,
So there's a place really, if you want to cut, you're just not gonna have. You know what I mean? I'd like to do Barber Pond Road next year, either from Washington Brook to where we left off or down. Either way, it needs doing.
And this,
The worst, I think, is towards Bennington, from where we left off this way, go to Washington Brook.
this fund balance doesn't have Maple Grove paving taken out of it yet,
Yeah, no, don't.
so it looks bigger than it actually.
right, no, okay, so thank you for that information. I assumed that too, but thank you for bringing that up because that is an important thing. I assume that, but
One thing you all want to
I didn't remember seeing writing the check yet for it, so I assumed that. Well,
One thing y'all wanna realize too, is I try to do class 2 roads. Which Fire Pond is actually Maple Grove, we got 100,000 last year. About every 3 years, we get a pretty good blacktop. So I try to save my class 2 roads. With, a grant, so we never know when we're budgeting. There's another thing, yeah, you can put it on paper, or we'll do Barber Pond next year, but. It may be on us and I may get a grant.
right, so I guess my question, Joel, is as we look at these in our capital planning, right? I think we have a really good plan going forward on replacing equipment, right? I think that where our capital planning probably is a little, and I don't want to say questionable, but a little up in the air, is the building fund, right? That needs a little bit, and that's probably what we should be addressing. I think blacktop, maybe we do shortchange the blacktop for a year or two to add to our building fund, to get a building that is gonna potentially give us a little longer equipment lifespan, right?
Mhm.
So maybe we make that adjustment on this coming year. And then, our gravel crushing fund seems like that stays pretty good, it's not really a capital plan expenditure, that's something you do every single year, that's not a futuristic.
Again, we could cut back, rather than. Worked out good because we did a couple thousand yards of sand crushed.
Right.
Stone and sand, and then we did, what did we do, 4 or the other, I forgot.
But that's,
We did like almost 7, I think.
now we have $41,000 budgeted in that, and we don't have, there's no carryover.
And it was $40,800 is what it cost me. And I forgot sand.
So having that amount of money budgeted is probably not a bad idea to stay consistent with that, because the only thing that's gonna change at the end of when we go to do gravel crushing is the amount of yards you can do for your 40 grand.
But it's going up all the time too.
Right, no, it is, it's increasing, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this capital plan so that in our capital plan, we can say, okay, we can get enough money for a bill. Right?
Yeah.
So where do we rob Peter to pay Paul?
Yeah.
And it looks like blacktop is somewhere we can take some money from.
Yeah.
Right? And not really be behind I don't want to get behind the 8 ball by robbing Peter here either, because that's crazy too.
But I can still put in for a pretty good grant.
Right.
And if we get it,
That's right.
the only trouble with the state of Vermont, they don't tell us until like June, and you should have your bids out, earlier May, May.
Mhm.
But if we do get a grant, you got a couple years to fill it, so.
Mike, I got a couple questions.
One,
Tara, question on the general bridge fund. Is those numbers current numbers, or are those numbers, have our numbers taken account the, work that was done on the bridge?
Mhm.
Okay.
They're
Joel,
updated to today.
I got a question.
Yep.
The general bridge fund, we're putting in $5,000 a year.
Yep.
How long have we been putting $5,000 a year in the bridge fund?
I'll tell you what I gather happened there when Bill Batso was a representative.
Yeah,
He came to the board back then and said, look, you guys gotta keep or stop putting so much money in the bridge fund. Because if they see you got a whole bunch of money in it, you're not gonna get the state funds to put it in.
To help.
So I always kind of went by that. If you guys want to do different.
I would like to know from somebody which way we should, if that's the case, I don't have a problem leaving it at 5,000. But if that's not the case anymore, then we really need to relook at that.
Well, we're looking at 5 years down the road before we're kind of considered. I haven't talked to Jonathan, like, well, such again, but, I was up in, Wilmington the other day. And the state guy was up there, District One, Patrick, and he kind of took me around, but, that bridge on Main Street, on was it 9, going through Wilmington,
Yeah,
they got 1-inch steel plates blacktopped over. That's what's over. They got tractor trailers and I mean, that's their Main Street.
I know.
It's like you said, you want to see bridges that are bad. You don't have any holes yet. Because we've been.
Right. But my fear is that we'll just keep underfunding it. Things are getting, I mean, if you were to replace that bridge, pull me a number off the top of your head, how much that bridge would cost us.
3 million probably.
Okay.
And if we have a good representative, when they did one in North Powell, we only had to pay 5%. And they donated the Bailey Bridge.
Yeah,
So it depends.
I understand that. So I just think that we really need to, if we're doing capital planning,
Yeah.
we really need to. Somebody needs to say something to you or send a letter to Tara, basically stating that part of the process of looking for a bridge for a grant or whatever the state does, that they're looking at how much money we're putting up. Because we've got other places to put that money, if that's the case. But I want to know, rather than somebody winking and nodding and somebody 10 years ago said that, because things change within a year. And things will change next year again.
Yeah. But it does make sense if they see you got 500, 800,000, you're not gonna get as much or.
But you're gonna, before we turn around, how much did we spend on fixing the bridge?
80,000.
Before we turn around and get another bridge put there, we're gonna probably expend, what, 200,000 in repairs? Because I don't expect we're probably not gonna get a bridge for 10 years.
I go on, Jeannie and I talked about. I will put in for another 80 or so this year. And we'll get more of it fixed.
Like, yes,
The underneath isn't real bad. Burying beams and stuff, it's just that.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Just once you're done with your.
I'm done.
Can we identify action areas like Joel maybe could go research the building, get some pricing and some updated figures and come back to a later budgeting type meeting? And there was one thing under his ideas that we didn't discuss was retirement.
I was gonna say retirement and wages.
And I think that an action item for us all is to sort of look into what other towns do
Yep.
for retirements and sort of all come back to the table with some ideas for that, because I can certainly come up with some ideas, but I would love other thoughts. And a good approach for the retirement.
Would we look at towns comparable to Pownell? We'd have to look at towns that comparable to what Pownell is.
Yeah, or just a creative out of the box.
I
Right, and I'm not seeing
Process.
no, I agree. I'm
Right.
just,
But like, when you're saying, so my question to you, so
Yeah.
if you're saying towns comparable with Pownell.
comparable size
Right.
and,
And location is what I'm
well,
also
you
curious
can't,
about.
because Pownell was in the same location. No, what I'm talking is Vermont towns that are the same size, their municipalities are the same size.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is I think that something that's unique about our town, and when it comes to wages, this is not always helpful, as what we are adjacent to. The towns we're adjacent to that can outspend us that keep taking or,
They are also both union towns too.
right,
Departments are, both highway departments are union. So you, when you're comparing the Pownell Highway Department
right.
to Bennington or Williamstown,
Always,
you're comparing a union to a non-union shop.
but always keep in mind, Carl. We could be a union shop.
Oh, I agree with you.
We don't, none of us were interested, but you get a bunch of new people, younger people.
Right.
I'm not saying,
I think, so I think what we need to do here, if you think about this, and you think about it in a reasonable way. Okay, absolutely, I see your point, Carl, to go with a comparable sized town and everything, really comparable, because there's 50 of them, and I don't know, I mean, right, there's a lot of towns in the state of Vermont that are very similar to the town of Pownell.
You can find a all.
That's right, they're all in that book. But in order to be competitive in the hiring process, we have to be competitive within a 30-mile radius. Maybe it's a little further, but I would say some.
At the most, 50.
Right, Jamie. I think at the most 50, we have to be competitive within that 30 to 50-mile radius of what's going on. Because let's face it, you're not gonna get somebody to drive 125 miles a day to come back and forth to work for $26 an hour. Not gonna happen. So we have to, so for us to be competitive in that hiring process, we have to be competitive here within the radius that encompasses us. It's no different than, help me with.
I'm Brian.
No, not you. Help me with the company you work for.
Dylan.
Company you work for.
I work for Command.
There you go. Okay, for command, right? So they have to be competitive with their wages within a certain radius, and their HO people, right? They look, or their HR, not HO, their HR people look at what they need to be competitive to hire quality people. Right? They hire people to do that. That's our job. That's what we're hired by the townspeople to do, is we're hired, voted, whatever you want to call it, we're hired to figure that out. And we have to be competitive within that radius. It doesn't matter what Bridgewater, Vermont pays their people. It doesn't matter, because that's not the pool that we're drawn from.
There's a lot of advertising there.
Yeah, and I think if we do comparisons, I can build a comparison that has comparable Vermont towns, but then include bordering towns.
there we go.
So we
That would be the safest.
compare
Um,
and at least have a comparison and contrast so that we can stay competitive. But also.
And I mean, I don't think we can come out and pay exactly the same, but I think we can come out and we can offer some different things here that maybe somebody else doesn't, some other, the joy of having the scenery.
Ask a question to Joel's point now, like this whole discussion about being a union town or not, right? And you said that you guys were not interested in it, but
in the future, it might
the
change.
future might change. If someone with that,
I just,
process for it, and if that would deal with retirement, if that could help us deal with wages and attracting new employees, that I think is at least an area worth researching, and I'm happy to do that.
I would love your.
Got it.
Tara, could I ask a question?
Sure.
Could you kind of reiterate that we are not talking about doing a new retirement plan, but enhancing the one we already have?
I don't believe we have a retirement plan.
We don't have one, but we have one through.
Remember
It's
right?
There's some confusion, I think, online that talking about retirement plans, like.
Oh, like
this is
money,
like-
monetary.
Yeah.
No, we're looking to plan for when people retire, their replacement.
Yeah.
And that could include, another creative idea would be to hire someone to train until someone retires, but that's just
There's a lot of-
how that would really work. Well, thank you for pointing that out. I didn't realize that.
No, there was a confusion there.
Okay, sorry.
One thing you want to realize, we do have good insurance, that we pay the most towns.
Yeah.
With retirement, I hate to back here again, but, a lot of towns in Vermont have the Beamers. But they're also, they can opt in like a 401k or something like that, the town will match. Because Beamers, I don't know, I don't think pays really well in the end. From what I've heard.
Okay.
And you go across the line, they don't have social security, they have their own system. They don't pay.
I thought that was only Washington DC that did.
Yeah,
No, my ex-brother-in-law worked in fire department, Washington DC.
yeah,
And he doesn't have social security. He has the,
they don't have,
they don't, I didn't realize that. I thought it was just Washington DC.
railroad, don't. There's, I think, teachers maybe, right, have their own or.
No, teachers are social security.
Oh, they have a retirement plan doing that.
Yeah,
They have a retirement plan, but they're still under social security.
But.
So I think we're in pretty good shape with what we're doing here with the road budget and the capital planning portion of it, right? We got a good direction to go here. I don't wanna keep beating a dead horse all night, some other things going on, so. I think we have a great equipment replacement plan in place right now. I think I'd like to see, I think the majority of us for sure would like to see a building go up within a couple of years, so we can, let's try to figure out how to take and get some numbers on that, Joel, in the next whatever, so that we can, before we really get into lockdown budget season, we can get an idea. Anybody else have anything with Joel? I think that,
Just if Joel, at some point, could you give me a list of your equipment from the worst to the best? So that I could just have an idea. You have your plan. When you have time, I don't need to.
Yeah,
Okay. Just, it would help me, that's all, because then I can turn around and actually look at, okay. Joel really looking at, here's the 3 worst offenders of costing us money that we.
the biggest problems, we have right now is our inputs. Salt, 9150 is the best I got so far, 77.65 I think last year. But it was 86.20 the year before, so we're up and down. Parts are terrible. Tires,
wait time on them.
Tires, I don't, yeah, all tires.
yeah,
oil, tires, all that stuff are
we
brutal.
got prices here for Tom wants to set for his backhoe. We need some for the big trucks, the front tires and the tandems, the 315s, wider ones.
I gotta check this out.
Please. What recaps used to cost us there, I can get them from the new people, on the loan set for $250 a piece, no case. Each one, $250 plus $80, we don't have the cases. A lot of our casings are out of date.
Where does our salt come from?
We get it out of the Port of Queens. There's 2 of them down there, Appalachia and Eastern. And that comes overseas. That is, New York, I think, tries to use mostly their own,
Okay,
but that comes from overseas. It's really nice salt.
From Egypt, isn't it? I think that's from Egypt.
Somewhere, something.
That pink.
Oh, our salt's coming from there?
Yeah. And that's what I get, even tires, every time I talk, oh, the tariffs are killing us.
That's another discussion. I think we're in good, I think we're in good shape here. We got a plan in place. We need to look at do some research on some towns. For wages and, you know, planning for our road crews retirement. How's that rather than a retirement plan? And oh, that's all right. I just don't, you're right, things don't need to get twisted. And then, you know, the equipment, the building fund, we get an idea how much a building's gonna cost. We can certainly start budgeting for that, and if we have to. I think we got a plan, we can take some money out of a blacktop fund if we need to, and try to increase that building.
Yeah.
And then we're not increasing, you know, what we're trying to budget here. We
And
can stay level funded.
And I just wanna point out that it's so much better when you're budgeting because you have the board's feedback already, like ahead of time. Cause usually we
I think it's good.
budget and then bring it to you all. And
Right.
it's nice that we're doing this before.
No, I think it's great. I think it's really good. It gives you a direction now.
Yeah.
Right? You know that these 5 board members right here are looking for a building more than laying down a little bit more black over top over it. Right. I mean, unless somebody got something different here. I didn't hear it, so.
Oh, and Joel, they only raised the price by 10% for Egyptian salt.
Yeah. But still, their Cargill was $100.
Any good excuse to raise it more, I guess, is,
I don't know where Cargill, if it's New York or where they get theirs.
Utah.
you would, yeah, but you.
But they,
I don't know.
they're saying tariff
No, it's always.
and transportation.
I can see transportation Long Island, but it's not, but it's on rail. So it's like, you know, you're railing it in. Transportation cost isn't that, doesn't change that much.
Right now, fuel is down. That's the argument I get into.
Yeah.
Well, like they said, it's true, their parts are up.
Has anybody dropped their fuel surcharge?
I don't know.
I bet you anybody that you're doing business with that had a fuel surcharge or still has it.
Yeah.
I bet they're holding them to it. I would be surprised if they don't. All right, general fund planning and budget.
So we might be able to make this faster if we just go through.
Yep.
Each line, if there's nothing that can be done this year, we say it's not a priority. And I'm sorry, Carl, but the indoor stairwell and.
You asked, I understand.
We spent so much on this building, I think we should not spend more right now.
Right, but one question I did have was I saw in the other one here. The ARPA.
Yeah.
Building fund.
Yeah, that's still not, there's still money that has,
But there's expenses for that money, am I correct?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I wanna know.
Yeah, they're
That money is already
already-
spoken for from,
It's already designated.
So what are you talking about? You're talking about going through this sheet here one by one.
yes,
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
okay,
if
that's
that's,
fine.
if that's what the board would like to do, or you can pick and choose priorities, I know.
No, let's just-
Wages and the plan for retirement is an ongoing.
Just go medium, high and low.
Let's just scoot through.
We could just go, when we go down through these, just put a high priority, a medium priority or low priority.
There can be, of course. The ARPA funds, like doing the parking lots and the roadway, is there a certain time they need to be spent?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Because usually we don't get the bills till December,
You know, okay.
January.
Yep, thank you though for
I didn't
checking.
want to mess you all
No,
up.
we're all set. Thank you.
Supposedly a week or so.
Yay. I really can't wait for the town office project to be done with.
No, come on, what are you talking about?
We're so.
but I think that's a
Thank
good
you,
idea,
Joel.
Carol. Let's go down through these one at a time. And prioritize them, high, medium, and low. Right? How's
Yeah.
that? Indoor stairwell, town office,
Low, I'll,
secured location for documents that don't fit in the vault.
That's a low priority, but we're actually working on that anyways, because I may have some ARPA money left over. I plan to build a wall. But I'll bring that back to the board when the time comes. Yeah.
okay,
Maintenance program for the bridges in
I
town.
think it's high for me anyway.
High, but doesn't really have money attached to it.
Right.
high but no money.
That's gonna
I guess-
apply to everything.
I guess it should be high and be identified. More of an identifier.
Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Employee wages and plan for retirement.
I think that needs to be high.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean,
And I think that needs to be high with maybe a star next to it for a higher priority. So if we have a bunch of high priorities, I think that one needs to bump
Oh,
up, maybe bump a
right.
couple other ones.
Yeah.
Right? Is that, if that makes sense?
I think what we do is we come back to with just the high priorities. And then we look at them and rank them 1, 2, 3, 4.
We can do that. With the focus, we can skip that. Emergency services properly funded.
That's a high priority, but we really did a lot of work last election season to sort of get them in the general fund and do all that stuff, so at this point, I don't know if there's more to.
right. I think that with the look toward the future though.
Yeah.
I think it's about how.
At least a medium.
We'll continue to get, I mean, how much is this, like really understanding how much is grant funded,
Yeah,
how much help we get from the state, like how much of this is taxpayer funded.
Yeah,
And not presuming that things are always gonna be what we have right now. That's why it was high for me.
Access to town land forest areas.
Did you need to say something?
No, I don't need to say nothing about that.
Okay.
that's already being worked on.
I think that's a high priority, but I think
But if we're gonna go down through, we're gonna have, everything's gonna be there.
yeah, but some of these, so like you said, I think you had a great point. So we do our high priorities, medium priorities, low priorities, then we go back to the highs.
And then make
we
a list.
number them. And that's, I think
I guess-
the access is already being, that's already being addressed in a pretty good way, but it is a high priority, I think, for everyone sitting here.
That's right. I won't disagree with myself.
Upkeep of town property and plan for future maintenance.
yeah, I disagree
Well, that- I mean,
with deferred maintenance, so.
So I had a question on that, I should have brought it up there. When you say the upkeep of the town property and plan for future maintenance, and I know this was you, Jamie, so that's why I'm asking you. Which town properties are you talking about? So we already have a plan in place for here, right?
Mhm.
Our wastewater, Darcy takes care of her portion of it for maintenance. The transfer station, so to speak, is taken care of by the head of the transfer station. So, and they bring everything back to us, right? They bring all these things back to us budgeted wise and we approve or whatever for maintenance for a town property. So I should have brought it up that night and I didn't, and I apologize for that. What are you exactly talking about? Are you talking about the Little League field, the land that we own on Swallow Hill, the 1,000 acres over here, when you say town property, Clayton Park? What are you talking about?
I encompass it all personally, and then we should prioritize, but like anything that has a building on it, I don't believe in deferring maintenance on it, because then it doesn't take long and they start to degrade.
Well, I think we already have that, right? We already have a pretty good,
There's some gaps still to be figured out, maintenance wise in the building. As we,
I mean, upkeep to the park,
So that is a big urgent to me, though.
it's not urgent. No, they're
so would
not.
we say that's a medium priority then? Would everybody be comfortable with that as a medium?
yeah, I'll go with me on that. I mean, you bring up valid points as far as a major,
Yeah, no, and I should ask you that,
You know what I
and I
mean? It
apologize,
just-
I didn't, I mean, you're like,
Needs to be better defined.
yeah, but
right,
we do have a lot of other areas in the town,
Right,
and that's why,
right, so
I just,
town property's a little vague, and
I mean, we've got the new areas off South Stream Road also.
Right, exactly, no,
Haven't even
exactly,
got
that's
there.
what I mean, and I forgot that one.
You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
haven't got there yet, so
Yeah,
it's just,
competitive wages, I think that's a high priority.
yes, definitely.
And for road, I think that has to be a high priority, like we have to have road maintenance.
Yes, I agree.
And wastewater,
Materials on hand for wastewater repairs?
yes.
Like I said in there, it's a priority, but one to discuss with Darcy. 'cause we
Yes.
want her, how she plans.
And you know, maybe, and also maybe it's not just Darcy. It should be, but you know, I don't think we really have to worry about Joel. Joel's an old farmer.
Yeah, but this is just wastewater only, was my,
Right.
that's what we're.
That's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, she has a plan in place and she's been working on having some redundancies, but it still needs to be
Well, I think,
on our radar.
the question popped up when we blacktop down at West Meadow or whatever that, you
Mhm.
know. And I know why, I understand why, and I appreciate everything that Darcy does. I just would like to see, especially our system's getting older.
Right.
The system's now 20+ years old. You know, I just want to make sure, and maybe she does, I'm not doubting that she has what she needs. I just want to make sure that she has.
What she needs right now.
That's right. That's right. If it breaks down tonight at 10:30 at night. I just want to make sure that Darcy understands.
That we're not waiting, especially
that we
now.
I don't think there's a single person sitting here on this board that would say, no, I don't want you to carry that in stock because it may never break. No, I think every single one of us five wants her to have that to fix at 10:30 at night.
Especially that piece of whatever that is going to take us. Oh, that's back ordered. We'll have that for you in about 3 weeks.
Exactly, and that's my point, and I just want to make sure that Darcy understands that if she needs it to have in stock, that we support that.
Right.
Because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I hope she understands that, but I just want to make sure she does. Sustainable forest management plan to offset property tax.
Now, that's something that doesn't really, I think what I like about this is, one, I think it's really smart. I think we need to have this, but it's not something where I have to like put out money for. This is something that's potentially going to make money for the town.
Mhm.
And I think this is the sort of thing that like I said last time, like using like our relationship with the conservation district and Concom. I think it's important to figure this out because I think that it is just income sitting there.
But I think
If we
it,
utilize-
But I think we have to
How
think
do it
about,
sustainably.
right, but you know, if you talk to all foresters or a good majority of them, they're all cutting their forests sustainably.
Yes.
So the county forester is working on managed forest for the town forest. And now, she'll be coming at the beginning of December to present that. And, so this is a high priority, but not necessarily action right now to be.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
It needs to be a median.
Right.
so the reason that I put it fairly hygiene, just so that I'm 100% clear.
Can I have you?
When I envision capital plan.
Yep.
Right, my vision of it is, or my interpretation of capital planning is not just expenditures. Right, so that's why I put that as a higher priority for myself.
Yeah.
Because I felt that it's an income based.
And it's something we've always talked about.
And I do agree, it's a high priority.
Right, no,
Yeah,
I understand.
Definitely want to argue for it.
Right,
Right, and it's something that we've always talked about, we've really done nothing about.
well, it's just.
Yeah, but all-
No, that's right. Absolutely right.
Right.
No one's ever done anything about it, because it's never been we've never done a capital plan.
There you go.
And these, I'm trying to divide them up, so like high priority, no action to be taken, no money needed, already in progress, or whatever, I'll try to really define.
Awesome.
Yep.
After we're done with this meeting, to
Yes.
help organize our things and the plan.
Yes.
Emergency services, we already did that. Town plan updates, I think that's,
Applied for the grant.
I think we're working on that. I think that's a high priority, but that's another one.
It's work in progress.
Transfer station in town,
That's a lot. Got a lot.
Blues.
Mike, I got questions on some of these.
I have, Carl, I haven't seen these, so I'm probably gonna have a lot of questions on those
Okay,
as well.
enclosed electrical panel.
These are immediate needs. Enclose the electrical panel, electrical receptors, for compactors for oil heaters, which I'm not even aware we needed. Electrical lighting in the shipping container, a snow blower for the snow removal, and calcium chloride, which the calcium, he has money for in his budget. The snow removal, the snow blower, he has equipment fund, he has money in that. He needs to get some estimates and come to the board.
Well, we're gonna
That's great.
have to talk about calcium too, because that'll eat away the concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question on the,
Something different.
I'd assumed that was all part of the install for the compactors.
What are you
The
assuming?
electrical heaters for the oil for the compactors.
Thought they had heaters built in.
I assumed that.
They did
When,
too.
when we were reading that documentation, I was pretty sure that it stated that. That outfit from New Jersey.
That's my confusion also.
So I think,
With these.
We just get some clarification from Casella on that.
well, I think what we need to do, Jeannie, on that one, I don't think Casella, they may be able to answer. I think we need to pull the spec sheet that we had on those.
Yeah.
If you can, we should have that on file here later.
Yeah.
If you can get that spec sheet, I'll read those spec sheets
Yeah, cause
over and see what exactly that's gonna entail. Okay,
And I can invite Tom to maybe the next meeting if you want to discuss some of these things with him.
I'm not sure what he's talking about on close the electrical panel.
yeah, because that should,
Yeah, that should have been done.
Weatherproof.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that should have been done.
That was installed by a licensed electrician. That's
Yeah, that should be ready to go.
He
It's a
might-
weatherproof.
maybe he wants like a, I don't know, maybe he wants.
a roof over it.
Around it, kind of.
That's a great thing. That's a fairly, I don't see that as an immediate need. Maybe I'm wrong. If you give me the spec sheet, I think he's right on the snow blower for sure.
Yes.
And I think ice melt is already taken care of. Joel's gonna take care of that. So I think those, the only thing that is the electrical lighting in the shipping container, and I'm not sure if that's an immediate need because I'm not sure if we're not in there in the dark.
If you want, we can always put a solar light in there.
We're in there today.
Battery on.
That's what you just get one of those things you put out.
I would think you gotta be a little bit careful on what our insurance company's gonna allow in there anyway, the oil storage and all that.
100%.
You start
That's
adding that.
explosion proof and.
It's a shipping container, it's not a building. It's, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you start,
Future concerns, paving around the compactors.
I thought we did that.
not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Paving at the side and rear of the tipping shed. He's got a lot of uses for that 58 grand, that's spread thin. Replacement of the 27-year-old backhoe.
Cause I missed the equipment fund there.
Office roof replacement with a gabled roof.
That was, his justification was so that customers don't get wet. I think the rain pours down the window there, he said. Just,
Replace the swap shop floor. Cardboard compactor baler.
No.
These are future concerns, so
a few trips.
they're legitimate. The treasurer, increase assistant treasurer line to $1,500.
Only a $500 increase.
To fully train.
Yeah. She just wants to fully train her assistant. So if something happened to her. or-
So these are budgetary items, right? I
They're
don't,
more of a budget thing.
Yeah.
computer and printer for delinquent tax
Budget.
collector, if not Ellen, sorry.
Another budget.
It's a budget concern. Computer replacement schedule, don't we have that already?
So we have kind of gotten away
Okay.
because I wrote in here, what happens is the computers will be working fine. Computer, for example, I've had since I started here, and I don't want to give it up.
Yeah.
And if I do, say I get a brand new computer, what do I do with this perfectly good working computer?
No,
I
I think it's
understand eventually they age out, but I hate to just throw away good computers for the sake of a replacement schedule.
particularly if you're comfortable with that, but I think then the question becomes, are we budgeting for replacement at X number of years? Doesn't mean we have to spend that money. It doesn't mean you have to replace your computer.
Yeah.
As long as we have.
I think
Funds.
we have
We already have that.
pretty robust IT budget and an equipment replacement budget, and I've been able to replace whatever equipment. As a matter of fact, I just did the Zoom equipment a couple weeks ago. Found a really good deal on it. Yeah, so we have a robust IT budget that it could come from when we need to replace them. And if the board would like me to come up with a schedule, we can.
I think my experience which was very limited in IT, okay, I had trouble with my email today at work and it's like I was on the phone for 40 minutes because I couldn't get the girl in the phone I couldn't screen share with her, okay? And she worked very diligently and patiently with me, but anyway. I think replacing our computers and laptops, it's a matter of a day if something happens to one or 2 days, right? And we have a budget for it. So
That's just as needed.
if a computer goes down, I think we need to keep a budget. Because if, you know, something happens with one of our major
Yeah.
computer.
Like when the Zoom thing went down, Tara found a system, and replaced it.
Exactly. So I think we're fine with that. And I think that,
How much are we putting away for, or do you want to just discuss that when we do the?
I think we discuss that when we do the budget. Yeah, sure.
And that's not a fund related thing, so that's just whatever's in that budget line that year is what we have to use.
Then it's okay to just keep it in there and let it roll over if we're not using it.
Town green, town center development, either Terra, I think we're working on it with the BCRC, you know, they're working there. Land is underutilized or underdeveloped, the 73 acres on Northwest Hill Road, that's perfect. I think we have the other, there's $4,000 or 4,000 acres or whatever it is on South Green though, too, that we really need to.
Yeah, we need to look at it. What are our options?
Right,
What
right.
needs to be used for? Are we just gonna hold on to land and,
Right.
Well,
you know, we have our town forest land that we're doing something with, but this land, the 73 acres on Northwest Hill. I don't know if people even really know about it. What is it? How did we get it? What can it be used for?
Right.
Those things need to be.
Is it worth it to sell it?
Exactly.
Well, and then there's the land up on, up down by Stewart's, up in the back there. I forgot what the name of the road was, but there's a few acres up in there that's owned by the town that just.
I think that's something that,
Yes, we
I think we can look into that.
should prioritize
Yeah.
it. We know we're working on the tannery and the connector
Of
that we
course.
just finished, or that we just acquired in the last couple of years. And as that one evolves, for our parking area and whatnot, then we can choose to move on to the next one, but just don't want to lose sight of any of it.
Right, no, exactly. Route 7 safety, we're working on that, that's a.
So the only question for that or the consideration was the match amount is 8,000. It will probably be next fiscal year. So we could budget it in.
It's a budget.
Like, that's
Yep,
a
okay,
Think of-
that budget question.
Tom and Nate are gonna do some fundraising, but say the fundraising efforts fall through, we still wanna have that money,
Right.
to provide the match.
Transfer station PFAS contamination issue.
So this, I just wanna talk briefly about, starting December 1st, 2029, we will be making annual payments of $28,859.60. On the loan that is covering the testing phase of what they're doing at the transfer station. So we have a couple of options. We can budget 30 grand on a line item in our general fund. Or we can say, we know this is coming up. We don't want to put it all into one budget. We could try to budget into a fund. But because funds have to be voter approved, it may make a lot of sense to say to the voters, will you allow us to appropriate a certain amount from the capital projects fund to create a new fund for this? That's an option.
And start putting in money now,
Putting in money.
so that when later on, we don't have to put in that full amount. We can just kind of,
Do you, because I don't know this off the top of my head, do you know how many years that? Oh, that's what I thought.
10.
I thought it was 10, but I wasn't positive.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. And
So it's
based on the math, that's what I,
It's 288,596 total.
Yep.
Of unforgiven costs, so that was $248,794 were forgiven with the subsidies.
that's what I thought. The old town hall,
I think that we do have to, this committee that we've talked about, that's clearly a priority for residents, but I, like you're saying here, I don't think we can budget money. Yeah.
Definitely lots of action to be taken, but no money. And it's a high priority, I would say, but I'm not sure how you all see it.
I agree. Recreation in other parts of the town beyond the skate park. It's a great idea. I'd like to get some stuff in the,
And it,
other than portion of town where there's there's more kids. The population of younger,
And Leonard's doing a great job starting.
oh my God, that was awesome.
To make their. Me too. It does look great. And, we're discussing signage and some other things.
Not only the recreation in the southern part and down in North Pownell as well, where there's a higher number of kids and the density is a little.
No money necessarily.
Right, just figure out some things to have for them to do. And not just kids either, adults as well. Town office basement use and storage.
I think we addressed that earlier.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
Water resources for residents who run out of water,
That's huge.
it's,
yeah. I don't know that there's a way that we can address that right now, but it's a concern of mine because there's water insecurity all over town right now.
I think that's been an ongoing thing my whole entire life here in town, right? North Pownell is
Yes.
has been an issue since the tannery went out, the reservoir down there used to be maintained. I think there's some options with the aquifer that's here in town if certain things were developed in the proper way. Because there are some pretty major aquifers here within the town itself. It's just no one has taken the initiative to develop those. So I think that's a great thing, Tara. If I wish, and it's not, I don't think it's something that the select board per se can really undertake that task, right? Because it's a major task. It's a full-time task to try to develop water for a number of residents in North Pownell has the fire district, but it doesn't cover the whole entire portion of that, right? Over east, there's, here in Pownell Center, it's an issue. It's an issue everywhere in town,
It is definitely.
no matter.
We are a small enough community, if we could. I don't have any ideas, but if there were a fill station.
I was gonna say like the idea of a fuel station,
Um,
something.
that would be hugely helpful for a lot of residents.
Yeah.
So.
People get it right off the north of the hill on top.
Right.
Well,
I'll be thinking.
It's not a.
That would be a,
that's exactly where I was going with it, Jamie.
Yeah.
So Jamie brought up the Pine Tree Hill resource, right? Well, that'd be all well and good if there was a place to get more than one
Right.
Volkswagen Beetle offside the road at a time
Right.
and fill up 2 1-gallon jugs.
And if we were going to be advertising as a town,
that,
we have to test it, which is not that bad, I think.
Right.
But
you're the water person.
But I mean, those are things that, it'd be great if somebody could jump in and say, oh, man, I'm retired, I wanna do that and go ahead and do it. That'd be awesome. And I think that's a
But you're right, it's
major need.
not necessarily a town thing right now.
That's
just.
Well,
We could do some initial research into that, then I'm happy to do that as well. We don't talk about, but I just think we need to. Cause I do think for the people that this impacts, it's a really big deal.
Yeah.
Like, to not have to
Yeah.
wonder when your water is going out.
I'll give you some ideas about that after.
Great, I will continue for my research.
No, I know some of the aquifers here in town that
Yeah,
are major, and I'll give you a couple ideas, one in particular. Town building and property maintenance.
We kind of talked about it under Jamie's.
Yeah.
that we talked about.
Yeah, handle the equipment, computer replacement when needed, and we did that. Ag 250 zoning changes, I think Fred worked on that, I haven't seen his,
It's-
question and answer things come through yet.
No, and Fred only was addressing one portion of the Act 250 changes that are gonna happen. If in fact those changes do happen, Hannah's gonna attend a training on the 22nd that will give her a better idea.
This month,
Yeah.
so
So
we Zoom, or are you doing it? Time is it? Remind me. And I'll-
we could.
On the 22nd?
you
That's
know,
next Wednesday.
to make
right?
other plans. It is,
Mine is-
so yeah.
I'll come in and sit with you. Just if you don't remind me, there's no way. There's no way I'm remembering.
Like, you know, increase training, maybe increase payroll if there needs to be additional staff, like if all of the Act 250 falls on the town, that's a huge deal.
Right.
That's gonna require another position or something like
Yeah.
that. So this is a high priority, but we don't know all of. the
We don't know
details yet,
anything about it, yeah, really, that they want to change it.
Which just should be something that we're keeping in mind.
Town plan updates. We talked about that with Fred and I think we gave him a direction, so to speak, the other night, right? For the first time ever, maybe. Bylaw updates.
And that has to be within the next 5 years, but the town plan updates have to happen first.
Yeah. I think those are great.
We've handled the Joel.
We did, took care of Joel, right?
So if you can do a quick summary, it's not like we need to do some research into the wage stuff, a plan for retirements. Those are like the immediate needs. We want Tom to come in to talk to you about his needs or his.
Or would you rather talk to, you were talking about,
I can probably get to, I might be able to get over there tomorrow. And find out, I'll bring this stuff with me. And find out about, actually, what I wanna do is I wanna see the specs on that. Before we ask comment, I wanna see the specs on, I don't have the spec sheets on the compactors.
I remember we were over there and we talked,
We
and it
got
was
it in our
supposed to
email
be hooked
somewhere,
up,
but I-
because that was the big issue, we have to hook that up. I assumed it was already hooked up.
I wanna see the specs, so that I have it in my hand.
Right.
So when you,
My eyes read it before I assume anything, Carl. I
okay,
think you're right. I'm not disagreeing with you. I think you're absolutely right. But I wanna see it black and white before I say
And I
anything.
thought we touched base with that when we had the meeting with the representative from Casella also.
Well, there's a lot of things we touched base with him that didn't really
Yeah, I know, it didn't
come out in the
occur.
wash.
But
So I think we got a good plan. I think this is a great way to move forward on a lot of this stuff. And it's gonna help us in our budgeting discussions. We can actually, instead of just kind of throwing money,
I'm gonna
as a dartboard, we can actually make some educated decisions here.
begin reaching out to contractors, and vendors, and then we'll have to have, some more not fun conversations about, there's contractors. What that budget looks like this year, compared to last year, and those really tough conversations.
Yep, there's some of them that are gonna be tough.
Yeah.
I think we're good. I think we got a great plan going forward with Joel.
Yeah.
Darcy puts together a good program. I want her to know that I just wanna make sure she has what she needs when she needs it. That's all. Sorry, I think to fix up in the middle of the night. People still have to be able to flush their toilet.
Yep.
Anybody else have anything here? Any comments? Any public comment?
Yes.
Fun little drama camp we've got going on here.
Are we all set?
Evergreen Lane.
One at a time, please.
Sure.
Can you hear me? Jim Fosas, Mason Hill Road.
Theatrics.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you, Jim. We just had two people going at once, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, if they want to go first, but otherwise, first of all, I really appreciate it. It was very, very good discussion tonight with you guys. I mean, I'm glad you're starting so much early. I would hate to be in your positions with so many things that are coming on with the landfill, the bridge, the Main Street Bridge. I mean, there's just so many things that I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. I mean, you guys are doing a good job. Just make sure it's informative to all the people. Just going down the list that I have. Yes, Carl, I think it's a great idea to put money aside if we're going to start having to pay a revolving loan. If we don't have to end up from that letter that Tara sent out, and we don't have to pay the revolving loan, then hopefully that money can be used on something else. At that point, you just ask the voters to rescind their vote for designation. The swap shot at the town landfill, get rid of it. I mean, we're not a we're not a town that's trying to swap things back and forth. We're in there to make sure that our landfill takes care of everything that needs to be done. Maybe we could bring up or our pole barn that could just be put up there for the cardboard so that we don't have to go all the way down to where the metal shop is. Just a reconfiguration of that whole area. If you move that building, I mean, I think the traffic could be do something better, but unfortunately, I've said before, this whole project wasn't spec'd out. We'll have to catch up now. How the traffic wants to go when you have 10 or 15 people that drive in at the same time. So maybe move the building up somewhere around closer above. Now the philosophy is you go there, dump your stuff, and then go to the building and pay for it. I trust everyone that comes there. I just hope everyone else does. So, you guys, you keep bringing up the wastewater treatment plant when you're talking about general. I don't think that's part of the general. You guys have your own wastewater treatment budget. That's part of the users. So don't get it confused with the general fund. I mean, it's something that the users that you've got to present to your sewer and everything. Category, but it doesn't pertain to me, so don't confuse it. I'm glad that there was a clarification on the retirement plan. I would hate to see that we have another 401k or something brought in. We're a small town. We can't afford that. What would be nice in the annual report and maybe an explanation. Now, it's been a long time, explanation of each of the reserve accounts. What are each one of them used for? And what are the maybe potential outcomes that could happen to all of those? And also there's another category out there. There's a huge amount of land that's owned by the town. I saw the listing when it came out with the tax rate category. Maybe we can do a listing of each of the town properties that is owned, and maybe explain why we own that property and what it's going to be used for, or if it's just there for. And the last thing is, let's not get into the point of trying to supply water. Everyone takes care of their own water. I know, unfortunately, there is an organization or a location in Pownell that's had the worst summer with the drought and everything. I would hope that if there's any way the town could help them out, yes. I know that they're bringing water in constantly from a hydrant down at the fire department. I wish them the best if there's anything I could do to help them out, but I don't think we need to get into the point of the town supplying water. If it is needed for an emergency or something like that, maybe we could step in. But I think the fire district is doing an excellent job of helping them to get the water that is necessary. So you guys, good luck with the budget season. We'll talk to you when the taxes come out. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
3 degrees, too hot for ants. Some dishwashers even have.
Anybody else, Hannah?
No, the ones with just background was.
Oh, okay. Sorry. If there's no other public comment, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move the adjourn.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Good evening.